everyone, and welcome to the Backstory with Tori Bailey. Sorry we're running late tonight. As usual, when I think that something is where it is in the house and I go and look for it, it's normally not there. And tonight was this beautiful bowl right here. So my husband and I were in the middle of doing a frantic search of where is this bowl, and you guys are going to get a really good laugh out of this. If it had been a snake, it would have bit us. It was sitting on the counter next to our refrigerator. I forgot I now use this bowl as my bread bowl. So all of our loaves of breads and cookies and snacks and everything was in the bowl, well camouflage, and hid from us. And it hit us both at the same time where the bowl was. And we had walked by it about 5 times thinking, where did we put that bowl the last time? So my apologies for being late tonight, but I hope you got a little chuckle and a little humor out of that fact that we were frantically looking for this thing and it was right there in plain sight, which goes back to the old saying, if you want to hide something, hide it in plain sight, and it will never be found. Now, you might be a little bit confused by the setup tonight. You might think, well, you know, Tori, I'm thinking you're a writer. This is the Backstory of Tori Bailey. This looks more like a cooking show and Cooking with Tori. Well, in a kind of a way, it is. And what I wanted to share with you guys tonight is the recipe for Love Made from Scratch. And if you get your copy of Love Made from Scratch, which went on sale this week, it's available on Amazon. In the very beginning of the book, after you get through all of the wonderful dedications and accolades and everything, there is a recipe. This recipe is available on my website, readtoribailey.com. You can download it for free. You just go to the Love Made from Scratch page, or either go to the bookstore and you can download the PDF file. Now, it is going to ask for your email address, so we can send you the PDF file to your email address, and the link is good for 72 hours once you request it. And as summertime is coming up and the wedding season is going to start again, I'm going to talk a little bit later in the show about ways that you can use the Love Made from Scratch recipe as a wonderful wedding gift for a new bride. But in the book, Aunt Ethel has retired, and she has decided to start making a cookbook. And one of the recipes that she has passed on to her kids, Matthias, Thomas, and Anne, when they were married, is a copy of the recipe for Love Made from Scratch. And so what I wanted to talk with you guys about and share with you guys tonight is how the concept and the idea for the recipe came up, and also share with you some of the ingredients. One of my favorite pastimes that I absolutely love to do is read cookbooks, and I have always loved to read cookbooks, and especially around Christmas time. When I worked night shift at the 911 center, I would always load up my backpack with my favorite cookbooks, and that was one of the things I always like to do to celebrate Christmas. Is I would go through my cookbooks and start making a list of all of my favorite recipes that I wanted to make as gifts for Christmas. But I have a cookbook, and I did not get it tonight because in the frantic search for the bowl, I totally forgot about the cookbook. But I cherish my grandmother's cookbook. And it's a church cookbook. And for those of y'all that don't understand what a church cookbook is, it's a compilation of recipes shared by the ladies in the church. And usually about once a year or every so often, somebody comes up with the idea of let's do a church cookbook for a fundraiser. And one of the reasons why I love that particular cookbook, and it was a 1980s Tignal First Baptist Church cookbook with a red cover. And one reason why, there's multiple reasons why I love this particular cookbook. One, it was my grandmother's. So I can tell on the pages of which recipes were her favorite. And if anytime I want to visit my grandmom, she passed away several years ago, anytime I want to visit with my grandmother, all I have to do is just sit down and go through the pages of that cookbook and read her favorite recipes, because you can always tell which page was her favorites because there's usually a little bit of food stain or vanilla flavoring stain on the page. But it's also, since I've moved away from my hometown of Washington, Georgia, it's a way of getting to go back and visit some of the people that I grew up knowing. It's like getting to go home and visit among those pages and seeing names of people that you remember as a child, and that their recipes and things that they shared with their families. Another reason why I like especially church cookbooks is the recipes are very easy. So if you're looking for a great wedding gift for a first-time bride who's brand new and out on her own, I definitely recommend picking up a couple of church cookbooks and go to some of the antique stores and get some of the older ones, because they have a lot of good just basic cooking tips and advice. Another favorite cookbook of mine to share with new brides is the Blue Willow Inn cookbook, because again, its recipes are very simple. But the way all this leads together and how I created the recipe Love Made from Scratch is, one of the things about my grandmother's cookbook is in the back part is a miscellaneous section. And in the miscellaneous section was a recipe for a good home. And I started reading the ingredients and the directions, and I was like, well, you know what? I could probably take this recipe as a foundation, because that's what recipes are. They're a foundation. And, they're just basically a starting point that you can tweak and put your little twist on what you're fixing and preparing to make it a little bit more your taste or your style. And I was like, well, this will be a good starting point, and this will be a good foundation for me to start working on creating a recipe for Love Made from Scratch. And then I thought about one of my favorite Bible verses. And it's a very popular verse that you always hear read at weddings, where Paul wrote a letter to 2 Corinthians about how love is patient and love is kind. So I pulled that Bible scripture and I started making a list. And I made two columns, and I made a list of things that were good, things that, Paul said that love is, what love should be. And then the other column was the things that he said love should not be. And those would be the ingredients that you would not want to have in making love, or making a recipe for love. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so that's how the recipe began to formulate and come together. And then I started thinking about measurements, because measurements are important in a recipe, because you got to know how much of each ingredient that you need to put in to make the recipe work. And I got thinking about how Southern women use terms like a pinch or a dash or a splash or a heaping or a smidge. And there's actually recipes in my grandmother's cookbook that has these measurements. So I was like, well, that's what I'll use for the measurements in writing the recipe Love Made from Scratch. Now, the one thing I want to kind of go off on a little bunny trail and give you a little bit of backstory is the title of the book. Love Made from Scratch was not the original title for this book. The original title for this book was Unexpected Places, and it was initially promoted as Unexpected Places. So if you ever search around on the internet and you see any older biographies or anything, you may see reference to the third book being Unexpected Places. But as I started working on the book and writing the book, and some of the storylines began to develop, I decided that Unexpected Places really wasn't a good title for the book. But there's a business in the book called the Made from Scratch Food Company. And I was thinking, well, that would make a good title for a book, Love Made from Scratch, which is on ETHEL'S recipe. So that's how the title came about. Now, the from scratch part is kind of a little bit of a running joke between my husband and I, because, most of y'all have probably heard, a cook or somebody say, well, I made that from scratch. Well, I say that a lot. And my husband one time says, what is this scratch? I mean, where in the grocery store do you go and get scratch? Because I don't see it, in the pantry or anywhere. And I says, well, it's just a saying. It just means that it didn't come from a box. That, it's not like a box cake or a pre-boxed meal that you just add meat and you got a dinner. You actually measure out and put your ingredients together. And it is another way of somebody, when somebody says, I made that from scratch. For me, it's my way of saying, you know, I put a little bit of love in making this just for you, because I know that it's your favorite dish or your favorite cookie or a favorite cake. So that's kind of, you know, it's kind of like the saying, from scratch has been around as long as Moses was a corporal, which is another running joke between my husband and I. So that's another reason why the title from the phrase from scratch got into the title. So that's a little bit of the background on the recipe. Now, to kind of give you an idea of what some of the ingredients on the recipe is, and my glasses have fogged up on me, so that's going to make this pretty interesting. You want to do a heaping of patience, compromise, and kindness, a dash of humor, passion, and laughter, a splash of selflessness, tenderness, and spontaneity, a pinch of empathy, understanding, and humility. Now, your directions are just as important as your ingredients. And the directions is you want to sift all the ingredients into a heart-shaped bowl at least twice to remove the bad ingredients, such as jealousy, envy, anger, pride, dishonesty, grudges, and selfishness. Now, of course, any good recipe will tell you that you need to fold your batter in and get your ingredients put together. And so you would add the ingredients of faith, hope, and commitment to fold into your batter. Then, of course, you would slow bake your recipe in a good-natured pan. Serve it daily with a smile and garnish it with prayer to yield many years of memories. And that's the Love Made from Scratch recipe. Now, the reason why I put the instruction in to double sift your dry ingredients is because sometimes in recipes you'll see that instruction to double sift your dry ingredients. And the reason why you do that is it gets your dry ingredients like your flour, your starches, your sugars, and everything silky. It just definitely makes sure that you've gotten all of the impurities or clumps or things like that out of the dry ingredients to make your batter a little bit lighter and a little bit more fluffier. And I love the strainer because it reminds me of my childhood, because you don't see the red paint handles anymore, because I think nowadays they'll tell you this stuff's bad for you. But I do still use this strainer. A little bit of the story about how I came up with the concept of the heart-shaped bowl is I actually did think about this bowl when I was writing the recipe. And this bowl is very, very sentimental to me, because this bowl was a wedding gift to me when I got married 21 years ago. And inside it says, bless this bowl, bless the biscuits, and bless the soul. Now, I'm going to have to tell you, and I have to do a little bit of a confession. You know, this is kind of like confession time sometimes. I sometimes think I should have my Southern card revoked, because I'm Southern and I cannot make a homemade biscuit to save my soul. They come out looking like hockey pucks. But anyway, that's just one thing I've not ever accomplished in my years of cooking. But anyway, that's the story behind why I chose the heart-shaped bowl. It's because I thought about this bowl, and two very, very good friends of mine during that I was close to when I was engaged and getting married gave me this bowl filled with a lot of great goodies and ingredients to help start my home. Now, to close off the night tonight, I am going to kind of clear this out. And I said at the beginning, now my foot will find that, because my foot finds everything except men and money. But anyway, I started the show out tonight. During the course of the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have some instructional videos on how you can take the Love Made from Scratch recipe that you download from the website and use it in all Hobby Lobby. I love Hobby Lobby. That place is like a candy store to me. You know how some women can go to the mall and spend a lot of money on shoes, pocketbooks, and clothes? Hobby Lobby's my weakness. But I'm going to show using some of these goodies that I got at Hobby Lobby. how you can make a wonderful wedding gift to give to a new bride that you may be invited to a bridal shower. I actually did give a bride in my family last year a wonderful frame print. I used a frame like this, decoupaged one of the mats and printed out the recipe on very, very pretty paper and gave it to her. And I did not realize when I went to the wedding shower that it was a recipe wedding shower and everybody was showing up with their favorite recipes with all the ingredients to make it. And I gave her this and she absolutely loved it. So be looking for those videos. They're going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks on how you can use the Love Made from Scratch recipe to make a great wedding gift. In the meantime, definitely make sure you visit us over at Amazon.com. Order your copy of Love Made from Scratch. If you order it from the website, read Tori Bailey, you do get 20% off the cover there. I will be live tomorrow with Doug Dahlgren on Prologue at 11 a.m. and we're going to be talking about Love Made from Scratch. So until next week, if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, I'll see you guys hopefully on time and not quite a scattered brain. Y'all have a good week and be safe and take care.